Good evening and Friday evening. Welcome to the PRTvSpurs Paxton Road TV preview show. It's back again. It's that time. Tottenham Hotspur back in business, hoping to get 3 points at Kenilworth Road, where we'll be playing Luton Town. 12:30 p.m. kickoff. Joining me is the one and only Sam Spurs for life and Darius 3K. Good evening, chaps. How are we this evening?
All good. You know there was no music that played in the intro.
I know.
Oh.
I've no idea why. I have no idea why.
That's not what you do, guys.
I played it and I just went, where's the music gone? Let the music play. But I don't know. Anyway, guys, how are we doing?
Bit sad. We've got lost another player to injury, but
yeah,
you know, apart from that, pretty sure we'll get into it. Apart from that, doing all right. To be fair, Champions League was good this week. It was very entertaining. So yeah, doing good. Looking forward to watching Tottenham play.
Are you referring to Manor Solomon in terms of the injuries?
Yes.
Well, we got Brian Hill and Lo Celso back in training today, so I guess we lost 2, gained 2. That's how I look at it.
That is so true. That is so true. So, guys, apart from obviously the injury news, it's been an eventful week. You've had the European Champions League and the Europa League and everything else. Injury-wise, we'll talk about that as well. Do you know what? When I had to do the slides for today, it really was one of the easiest slides I've ever done because there's not much really. There's not much because in terms of head-to-head, there isn't anything. So I've done the best that a man can do, right? So let's get into this then. Luton Town, Tottenham Hotspur. I'm sure it's Kenilworth. Is it still Kenilworth Road? I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, I've put Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Excuse my app. That's wrong. Right, guys, let's get into this. Unfortunately, I could not get a head-to-head because they've not been in the Premier League, and the head-to-heads were going back to the 80s and stuff like that. So I think it didn't sort of appeal, and it's not fair because we'll probably have about 2 or 3 games. So unless you want to talk about the 90s and the 80s and Luton Town when the Mark Steen and all them lot were playing, Darius, you can fall asleep because you won't remember none of these players. David Plitt was their manager and that. No, but in terms of the Premier League, it's the first time, so they're going to be playing a lot of teams this year, first time round. Before we go on talking about that, let's, from you both, starting with you, Darius, Luton Town, what have you made of them so far? Last season, obviously, they were championship. They came up. What have you made of them so far this year? Darius, you're on mute.
It's been hard for them, I guess, and you can sort of, you know, when you look at Luton, Sheffield United, and who else got promoted? My gosh, my memory's so bad.
Burnley.
Luton, Sheffield United, and Burnley. Then you can really see that the gulf in quality of teams now between relegate or promoted teams and teams in the Premier League is gradually getting sort of bigger and bigger. And, you know, Luton was a bit of a fairy tale, I guess you could call it. They came up through the playoffs, didn't they? Weren't really expected to get up in the season gone, but they did a great job in getting there. And I think what you have to do is take these games not for granted, I want to say, but you need to really, you know, flex your muscles in these games, I think, because, you know, scored 6, conceded 14. I think that's at 16th, 17th in the league.
Yeah.
So, yeah, won 1 game, and that was to Everton, I believe, last week or the week just gone.
Last week.
So, yeah, I think all respect to Luton and their achievements for getting into the Premier League, but it's a game that I'm looking to, you know, despite injuries and despite players carrying knocks and stuff, I'm really expecting to see big performances from all of the boys today. And then, you think about who they've played already this season. I mean, Chelsea slapped them 3-0, and Chelsea can't score for anything. So, when you're looking at goals as well, I'm expecting, you know, a lot of things from this game. But again, can't take anything for granted. It's a Premier League team at the end of the day, and, you know, upsets can always happen. So it's about respecting the opponent still, but also I want to see us flex our muscles a little bit this game.
What have you made of him, Sam, so far?
Yeah, is the stream all right? So I'm having a little. I'm seeing my My little banner's coming up showing me that it looks like it's okay. No, sorry for rambling. Yeah, it won't be an easy victory. I expect a victory tomorrow. The pitch is probably going to be quite tight. The crowd will probably be hostile if we allow them to be. But goals will change games, and I expect us to score, and I expect us to score quite a few goals tomorrow if we can get over that, initial small pitch and be impressed, and what I mean, just need to play our game, and I think we'll win that. It's interesting to see the goal difference in the top four in terms of, Man City have only conceded 5, Arsenal 6, Liverpool 7, and us 8, and then goals scored. We've scored 17, Manchester City scored 17, Arsenal 15. It's all tight up there. Do you know what I mean? And if you throw Aston Villa into the mix and Brighton playing Liverpool this week.
Oh.
Wow.
Where's he going? Yeah, Brighton play Liverpool this weekend. And I think if you look at, I think Brighton and Villa are the top scorers,
Yeah, I mean,
yes, they are. Brighton have scored 19, Villa have scored
the only
8.
team I can think is Newcastle because of their 8-0.
Yeah. Go on, Sam.
Newcastle might be on that.
I don't know what happened there, just cut off, but anyway, so no problem. No, as I said, it's all tight at the top, and we've got to take advantage of the games that are coming up the weekend. Arsenal versus Manchester City, and I think it's Brighton, Liverpool, or Liverpool, Brighton, whichever way round it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I agree. So, obviously, we've talked about the table. Man City top, played 7, won 6, 18 points. Spurs second, played 7, won 5, drawn 2, 17 points. Arsenal 7, 5, 2, 17 points. Liverpool played 7, won 5, drawn 1, lost 1, whined 457,967 million times, asked for 15,000 replays, 16 points, and Aston Villa and Brighton played 7, both on 15 points respective. So it's interesting, and obviously Luton played 7, won 1, drawn 1, lost 5, and they've only got 4 points. So these are the fixtures. Luton Town lost 2-1 to Burnley in the last game. We beat Liverpool 2-1, but obviously that won't be remembered for that 2-1 win. They lost to Everton. They beat Everton 2-1. We drew with Arsenal 2-2. They drew 1-1 with Wolves. We won 2-1 Sheffield United. They lost 1-0 to Fulham. We beat Burnley 5-2. They lost to West Ham 2-1. We won at Bournemouth 2-0. They got beat by Chelsea 3-0. We beat Man United 2-0. And the opening game, they lost 4-1 to Brighton. We drew 2-2 with Brentford. Sam, we've talked this many times before. They've lost 5, won 1, drawn 1. We're 5 and 2. Again, fixtures, it really, to me, this doesn't bother me because, yes, we're second, they're 17th, but their run of form is poor. Ours is great. And you know how it used to always be, Dr. Tottenham will see you. We're no longer Dr. Tottenham, correct?
No, we're not. We're certainly a lot stronger mentally. The team played to the very final whistle. They're not scared of adversity. Sometimes last season going behind the games, he's kind of thought, we're not going to win this game. But just looking at the left-hand side in terms of what Luton have done, they've scored in every home game that they've played in. And again, that goes back to the fact I'm saying about the stadium, the crowd. Maybe that's at least helped them at least get a goal. But I still think looking at who they played what? Burnley, then Wolves, and
Everton,
also West Ham.
Fulham, West Ham, Chelsea, Brighton.
I'm talking about their home games in terms of their specific home games.
Yeah.
They haven't played the best teams in the world in terms of in the Premiership. So I expect us to go there, play our game, have a lot of possession, and win the game. More importantly,
Darius, looking at that, do you think of their 7 fixtures so far, do you think we're the toughest one for them so far? Or
probably also Brighton. I think Chelsea as well. The way that we play is, it's quite unique, but there are similar, there are similarities in philosophy in between, us, Chelsea and Brighton. I think we execute it a lot better at the moment, but you can clearly see what Brighton and what Chelsea are doing. It's just, maybe not working out. Brighton could beat any team, 4-5, I think, and they could lose 4-5 as shown against Aston Villa. And Chelsea, again, I think as much as we, rag on Chelsea, they are doing the right things. You just don't have a goal scorer. So I'm expecting us to be the team that's put everything together the most out of all of those teams. And I would probably say that we're the hardest out of everyone that they've played. But it's just, the way they might approach us may be different to the way they approach Brighton and Chelsea on their first and second, games of the season. I think conceding 7 in your first 2 Premier League games might make you think twice about how you approach the season. And as you can see, they haven't conceded 3 or 4 or more than 3 goals since then. So, they may be playing a little bit more reserved now. And I know that Luton do want to probably go out and play a little bit, but what is more important to them, staying in the league or entertaining their fans? So I think they're going to probably deploy a deeper block, maybe more than they did against Chelsea and Brighton, which will make the game look more difficult than it is, I think.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think for Luton, it's all about staying in the league. Anyway, let's move on. Right, so season so far, guys. Luton 17, Tottenham 2nd. Luton have won 1, Spurs have won 5. They've drawn 1, we've drawn 2. They've lost 5. We're still unbeaten. Average goals scored per match, 0.86 to our 2.43. Average goals conceded, 2 for them, 1.14 for us. 2 clean sheets compared to their nothing. Chances created per match, 1.43 for Luton, 2.57 for Spurs. Biggest win, 2-1 for them. Biggest win for us was the 5-2. 4-1 worst defeat for them. We have not lost so far. Sam, looking at that, average goals scored per match, 2.43. They're not even scoring they're under 1. And our chances are 2.57 compared to their 1.43. Are we expecting us to not totally, but are we expecting us to be dominant in this game tomorrow?
I reckon it'll be high 60s or at least 60% possession. It is not going to be as easy as people think. As I said, I expect us to win the game. They are going to make it difficult, and obviously the longer the game goes on, the more they're going to hold on to that. But I say it every time we play the game or we do these previews, the goal that we score first will make a massive difference in this game, because they're a little bit buoyant after winning their first game last week against Everton.
Yeah.
But they realise that Everton are not the same quantity as us. So I expect them to play a bit more reserved, as Darius has already said, probably a little bit more of the counter-attack, how deep their block is. But let's see how far away they go from their football. They are going to need to do something different. They can't play the same way they did in the Championship. But they are a team that hasn't kept a clean sheet all season.
This is it. Darius, I know your Sam mentioned about the block. And again, I'm sorry, but how deep is your block? How deep is your block? What are you expecting tomorrow in terms of, obviously, looking at that? Is it going to be attack v defense, or is it going to be our midfield completely dominating them? Is Morrison Cole going to have any opportunities? I mean, I'm looking at this tomorrow, and I'm just looking at every part of the pitch. We should dominate.
Let me ask a question. Sorry, I don't know if Darius or you know, Sid. What system do they play? Are they a 4-4-2? Are they 4-3-3?
I shall find out for you. Darius, you carry on talking.
Interesting to know. That's all I wanted to know about that.
I think they play 5 at the back, but when you've got 5 at the back, it can easily turn into a 3 at the back with progressive fullback. So
yeah,
I think the relegated teams will play I call it 5 at the back until they play a team that they think they can beat, and then you might take a few more risks, and it will look a lot more like a 3. But I'd probably say 5-3-2, 3-5-2.
They play 3-4-2. 3-4-2.
3-4-2.
3-4-3. You must mean 3-4-3.
Hold on.
Maybe 3-4-3. Maybe 3-4-3.
Yeah, they do a 3-4-2-1 system.
Okay, that makes sense.
Looks like it. I mean, they'll probably bring those wide players into the middle, make it congested if they have to. They can push those wide players out. They can turn one of those into a second striker and have 3 in the middle. I think a lot of these teams they will have 5 at the back as their main sort of formation, and then they can sort of intertwine those midfield and forwards as and when they please, and however that may benefit the team. I think to me they'll probably play 3-4-2-1 because there's no point in having two forwards against Tottenham. It's going to probably be 90 minutes of pure onslaught as we've seen now, and I don't think we're going to have that luxury of being able to maybe. I would say surprise teams because I don't think people were thinking that we were going to be this sort of high quality and this intense going forward in our attack. So I don't think, it's going to be a surprise for us to go at them 24/7 for the whole 90 minutes. So yeah, we're probably going to see Luton play a lot more reserved. I think probably 3-4-2-1. It will look a lot more like a 5-2-2-1 in my opinion. So yeah,
I've just looked at their last two games and they've set up 3-4-2-1. Both Everton and Burnley games, they were 3-4-2-1. I can't see.
Interesting to see how they played against. I'll have a look how they played against Brighton and Chelsea.
Yeah, but
that's again, the system's mainly on paper when you see them, and obviously that's more of a defensive shape that they'll probably get into. I think they'll probably drop into something like a 5-4-1 when they haven't got the ball. I think they'll probably. I personally think they'll look to play two up top, because you're right in what you said earlier, both of you. They won't have a lot of the ball, but in my opinion, if you are gonna play a transition game and you've got wide players who've come back, I think you should have two up front because we are going to play with our players inverted. It's all going to be very congested in there. So playing to the challenge with two forwards, you then end up playing 2v2 versus our centre backs if you get opportunities. But we'll see if they get opportunities.
That's exactly. But I like you said, it's down to us, isn't it? Whether they get the opportunities or not, and what system. Because I think they'll have to adapt to our system. I reckon they're going to have to adapt to how we play. Because I think Edwards will be expecting the way Spurs are playing. I think he knows, unless they do a Sheffield United where they just put everyone back and rely on a counter. But I can't see them. I mean, I know Morris is quite lethal in the air and they've scored one or two from the corners and that. But unless, to be fair, I don't see them causing us any problems, honestly, at all.
I think we shouldn't take any team in the Champions League. I was going to say in the Premier League as a pushover. They are going to be in the bottom three, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But if they get a bit of luck, a set piece, we've seen it at our place when we played Sheffield United. You know what I mean? We struggled against them and they got whacked 8-0 by Newcastle away. So do you know what I mean? Teams can do some things on the day, and if we give them enough incentive, like I said, give them the first goal. That don't help our cause. Like I said, we will control the game. We'll have 60% possession. I think we need to take more shots from the edge of the area because it looks like if they do play that 3-4-2-1 system, it's going to be very congested in the middle. They don't look like they're going to play with too much whips apart from their wide players who are playing the fullback wing-backs, as you say. So we just got to move the pieces around. We've got to move them around, keep that ball, look for the opportunities. And if Maddison, Son's fit, we shall see what happens in that game tomorrow.
So going on to team news for tomorrow. Obviously, we saw all the sort of press conference. It's the usual players that are out, and also Solomon's out for a couple of months. He's already back in rehab, so good news, depending. But I'm going with, and remember last week, guys, I got the team right. But anyway, right. So I know he said, obviously, he said they're all fit. Son's been carrying that injury, hence why he's not been training every day. He's getting involved bits and bats, but he's fit. He said Maddison's fit because he was asked that question, wasn't he? Are you putting him in cotton wool? And he went, nah, mate, barbed wire. There's nothing wrong with him. He's played in every single training session, and he's definitely playing tomorrow. So Solomon's out, obviously. Do you think this will be the team? I mean, Gil will be on the bench. I don't think he's going to come straight into that team. He doesn't come straight in to replace Richarlison. I think it'll be this is the team. I reckon, guys. You think it's going to be any different? Does he start Lo Celso? Does he give, I don't know, somebody else a chance, or is this the team?
Oh, I think it will be, but do I agree it should be? Is probably a different answer I'd give you. Me personally, against Luton, and I know we had this same argument about, the Arsenal game, and if we would play certain youngsters or whatever in the Arsenal game. For me, against Luton, you can afford to play Valise. You could afford to even play Donley. You could afford to take a few players out that, and by a few players, I mean probably Son only, because a groin injury is not something to be, to mess with. If a groin injury gets worse, it's a long time out. And at 31 years old, it's not a crazy thing to say we might need to start managing Son's minutes. Yeah. I know we've not got a lot of games to play this season. And I know 31, some players, you look at Salah, who's a similar age, and Kane and Ronaldo's and whatever. But Son's played a lot of football, and he's played a very intense brand of football for a lot of his career. And I think the importance of him throughout the season isn't worth playing him in this Luton game, because I do believe we have enough quality to win and to score goals against Luton. So me personally, if it gets really bad and shit really hits the fan, you can bring him on anytime in the second half, 60 minutes, whatever. I personally I want to see if Jamie Donnelly or I want to see if Valise is actually good enough to make a contribution to the team and be on the bench, because I don't think our bench players should just be made up of kids who can't really have an impact. I want our bench players, even if they are kids, to at least be able to have an impact. Otherwise, what's the point? There's no point in just bringing them for the sake of it. So, me personally, I might not start Son this game, just because, if you hurt your groin worse than what it is, it could be bad. It could be out for a long time.
Yeah, Sam, I'm gonna ask you one question here. Just one sec. Before that, welcome everybody in the comment section. Please continue putting in your comments, and also make sure you subscribe into PRTvSpurs and Paxton Road TV. Smash that like button, please. Smash that like button, and carry on with your comments. Also, if you agree with the team, should Son be starting tomorrow, or would you adapt it, put someone else in? Carry on with your comments. I'll read them out in a second. Sam, do you agree with what Darius is saying, or would you?
I would. No, I'm sorry. We're both trying to talk. I'm going to say this. I think Postecoglou's learned from that Fulham episode. Now, I don't think and expect us to make that many changes in any Premier League game unless there was a real problem. But what I will say is, I think you could probably start that team.
Yeah.
And say that, because if Son's been training and he can play, unless the medical team said he shouldn't play at all.
He's been missing training. So he can play the games. That's what Sid said. He's been missing training days.
It's selective training. He said
selective training.
Yeah, selective.
Right. So it's selective training with a view to be able to get a certain amount of minutes out of him.
Yes.
I would imagine. So he's been managing them minutes since we've seen, even in the Liverpool game, he took him off after 60 something. So I think I would start him, get him to 45 minutes, and hope we get 1 or 2 goals in the first half, and then probably don't see him in the second half. I'm just not sure if you're chasing a game or you bring him on in the second half. That's when you're joining the game later. I always think as a sub, you're more likely to get, I say more likely, there's no real science behind it, but when you're chasing a game and you're wanting to do the more for the team, you're more likely to get that groin strain or that hamstring pull. It might work the other way. You may start and do the same thing. But I think we should start with that strongest team. And I do want to see Valise play. I do want to see Gil play. I also want to see Lo Celso at some point, because this is an opportunity to see them. If they can't perform against Luton, regardless of whether it's home or away, then our squad depth, well, we've got a lot of injuries, but our squad depth does need to be strengthened.
So my question to you guys, both of you, right? Okay, yes, Son is not playing training, but he's given 70 minutes, 60 minutes. Does he then, obviously, and I think you've both said it as well, do you then go with Richarlison up top, put Gil on the left, or is he maybe thinking, I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate, and Sam, you're going to laugh at me, but I'm going to say it again, but does he then go Kulu on the left, Richarlison up top? Do you then put on Porro in Kulu's place and start with Emerson? Or
no, we don't need to.
that's what I'm
Sorry,
saying.
we don't need to complicate. We've got Valise. We've got him number
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. We've got, and he said in the press conference today, yeah, he had a bit of injury when he came in, but he was brought as a first team player.
Yeah.
So it's a battle between him and Richarlison, who plays a 9.
Yeah.
Richarlison can play left. I don't know if Feliz is a left-sided player or wide player, but Richarlison certainly can play in those areas. So again, don't take too many pieces out of the puzzle from a winning team. If Son comes off, I'd put Valise there, keep Richarlison on, or vice versa. You know, so yeah, unless Valise is a wide player, unless he brings Gill on instead of him, that's the only reason I will put Richarlison into the middle if Son was to come off.
And I think David Clark says the team picks itself, but I do think Valise will get minutes on Saturday. I agree with him. And also this is a good one. There is an international break after this game. Fans talking about resting players is ludicrous. Now,
that doesn't make sense to me, because Son's going to then go and play every single fucking game for Korea. 90
Exactly.
minutes through and through.
Exactly.
Captain, Klinsmann's not going to me, like, I'd rather, he's not going to get any rest over international. So
That's
like
right.
He's going to play, he's not Madison, where Madison may not play the games. Son's
Yeah.
playing every single game. He's captain of Korea. So he's going to get, if he's going to get hurt, it's probably going to be on the international break. So like, yeah, I don't really, that doesn't personally make sense to me. I think that it should be, if he's going to have any rest, this, like, if he gets injured at Luton, we're going to be pissed. And yeah, he may not go to the international break, but it's not going to be good if he gets hurt in this Luton game.
And I also agree, right, with this comment as well. If he's going on the international break, right, then he should be fit enough to play the full 90 minutes, in my opinion. Because him, Lo Celso, and Gil, I think, they've all been picked to go international break. So if all 3 of them are going on international break, they should be fit on Saturday to at least play 90 minutes. Because why would you play 60 minutes for Son, rest him, and then, like you said, Darius, he goes on international break and Klinsmann rinses the hell out of Son.
But that's what's going to happen, because he's the face of that team. He's the face of almost the whole country. It's like Ronaldo not playing for Portugal. It's like Messi not playing. You have to have a good reason for those players not to play for their national team. Even Romero will go to play for Argentina with half a leg if he had to. So I just think, it means a lot to these players. We'll see, won't we? I think, I've seen international breaks where Son's come back with ice on his knee and he's been hurt, and he's just going to play every game. He's going to play every minute of every game.
I think they're going to have to manage him. And I think if he plays, because he's been managed throughout this whole process, Postecoglou's made it clear in how he's managed how he's managed Son in his press conferences. He's been very clear. Now, I'm sure that Jurgen Klinsmann is not stupid. He doesn't want to get Son injured at all, because if you plays him in one game, you can't play in the other game. The other thing, though, as well, is that last season, a lot of these players probably wanted to go on an international break, wanted to play for their team rather than play for us. And now I think it's the other way around. I think these players are really happy to be. So you never know. We might get some jiggery pokery where they say, one of them old Alex Ferguson days, I can't really play. And then they turn out for us the week afterwards. That's how I look at it. But the way that
Brennan's not going to Wales. He's not going with Wales, is he?
No, he's not going to Wales. And he's close. And that's the thing. He's close to playing, but not quite ready. So you would imagine that he wasn't close to playing now. He'd be ready for next week's international.
Because they want him back for, is it Fulham we have when we come back?
Yes, Fulham.
Yeah, they want him back for Fulham. That's what people have been saying.
Yeah.
And I think I was just going to say the same thing will stand for Son as well. I think he wants to be. He's the captain. I know he's the captain of the Korean team as well, but I think Spurs at this moment in time, he's really loving life. And I think a lot of the players just want to be back in this Premiership hunt. That's what I'll say.
and I think we've now got a manager, right, in place that ain't going to take no shit. And he's going to tell these players or international managers that, listen, I want my players and I need them fit, because at the end of the day, I've just come into a new club. I've got them all on a roll. I cannot afford to lose my best players. So I think he's not going to sit around like other managers have done and just allowed them to go. Brennan Johnson, for example, he's made sure he's not included in that Wales squad. That to me is saying, I'm making a point here. He's not fit. He didn't play against Liverpool. He's back to fitness, but I don't want to risk him. I've got 2-week international break. I want him fully fit, committed, and ready for Fulham game. Then, if you want to take him to Wales for every other When he's fully fit, you can have him. But this is my players. My squad's thin, and I need my players. And I think what now we've got to understand with Postecoglou is man's ruling the roost in, it's my way kind of thing. Right. So let's have a quick look at these and then we'll move on. Mr. Solo 7 TMUA. Good evening. Big up, gentlemen. Long time. Yes, long time. Spurs to finish in the top 3 this season. There you go. We don't know yet, man. You know what? Let us do what we're doing. VR pinched your music or revenge, or was it Klopp?
Blame everything on Klopp. I think that's the new thing to do.
Exactly. You're such a pussy hole.
Guys, LUTON, I don't know if you're from Newcastle or you're a Toon fan, but I'm assuming he's a Spurs fan. We need some good dribbling going on at low block teams. Get a penalty or two. Brian Gill is the boy to do it. Spurs win more points from losing positions than any other team since the Premier League began. 428 points. Edward Y of Oz. I thought Madders was goalkeeper. Yeah, did you see that training video, the photo shoot one? That was madness.
That top's nice. I got that top last week, Sid. The short one, the goalkeeper one. It's nice, man. Yes, I didn't like that salmon. Well, it's not even salmon. It looked just like a dirty dishcloth, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
The colour wasn't as nice as I thought it was going to be.
Did you see Loris's face? Man did not want to be there. Man's like, what the fuck am I doing here? Take me out.
A little smile at the end, and then Postecoglou kind of tapped him. He was like a little tap. He just looked awkward, if I'm honest with you. He looked awkward.
Yeah. And I think I did hear something in the background. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I did hear, okay, now go, walk out that door. You're not welcome anymore. But anyway, let's see what happens. Right, Tottenham Andy. Fuck third. We're going to win the whole thing. Sam, has he been taking what you took last season?
Yeah. He's like, look at his picture. That's all you need to know. Man is on the juice, man. So I'd be on the juice. I'd be saying the same thing. So it don't matter.
There you go. We're not going to win the whole thing. We're already out the Carabao Cup, Andy. So, you know what? Maybe you and Sam can have a word now about the league because there's no Champions League. So maybe the Cup or the Premier League. We'll get you in next week. You can have a word. Both of you can be on it and then see what happens. Right, guys. Prediction time for everybody in the comment section. Put your predictions in tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Starting with you, Sam. I'm going to go with you first. What's your prediction for tomorrow?
I can't take your scoreline now, Sam. It's all you.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
So nobody's going to take, even if it's a scoreline that you was going to say. You can say your scorelines, man, just because I went first.
You know what, Darius? Sam did text me and said, don't put Darius first because he needs
I never did that. Don't listen to Sid, man. Sid's a troublemaker, you know. He's a troublemaker. I'm going for a clean sheet. I was considering 2-0. But you know what? The more I think about it, the more I can kind of, if we get a goal early, I think that's it for Luton. I just don't think they can cope. They can't really attack with the same vigor, unless, like, of course, they get lucky. We said Sheffield United got lucky, but we still win. Still won. 3-0. Goal scorers. You want me to get goal scorers? I'm going to go Maddison. I'm going to go with Richarlison. I'm going to go with a defender today, and I'm going to go Romero.
Okay. See, you and Andy are in unison. He even said 3-0 as well. But he's gone with... Actually, look. He's gone with a Son double and a cheeky Van der Ven.
A cheeky set-piece goal from a defender. I can see something like that. That's
there you go. So there you go. Darius, before you tell me yours, Luton 0 Spurs 4, Son 2, Richarlison and Kulu from our very own.
Everyone's taking my flipping scores. I was going to go 3. I was going to go 4. David, Sam.
Ooh, I think four's. I think if we get 4, that's a strong statement. But
four's.
Yeah.
Strong statement if we get 4 tomorrow.
I'm going to go 2-0 because I think a low block's going to be hard to beat.
You're going to go what? Sorry.
I'll go 2-0. You're
going to go 2-0.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think I agree. I think they've been working probably a lot now with this low block. I think the status of most teams, knowing that we have got a high degree of possession. Obviously, Liverpool were playing us man for man in terms of, back and forth until they went down to 10 and 9.
Well, they played us.
and
They played us like that with 10 as well, didn't they? Really.
And effectively, they went into a low block. They played a 4-4-1 in the end with Salah just up the middle, and they played it well. They defended their box, and so that's what we've got to get over. Because I can see Luton playing a very similar type of game.
Interesting. Guys, shall I tell you something? Did you know we could make history tomorrow? We could be the first team at this precise moment. We are joint with Chelsea, and can't remember who it is. 7 games, 2 goals in every game. If we've scored 2 goals tomorrow, we are the front runners, and we're going to be holding the record for Premier League first 8 games, and we scored 2 goals in every single game.
Is that a serious? Is that so?
Yeah.
We're the first team in Premier League history.
I heard we were joint with. I can't remember the teams, but yeah,
Chelsea and somebody else. But if we win by more than 2 tomorrow, if we score 2 tomorrow,
we scored 2 goals in every game.
It's our record.
We're record holders, yeah.
More than I don't think City have done it either.
No, I think it was Chelsea. I can't remember. I think Chelsea and Brighton. I think it was, or somebody like that. I can't remember. But it's definitely Chelsea and somebody else. Oh no, it wasn't Brighton. It was. It wasn't a big team, but yes, we scored tomorrow. That's it. We're the top ones. Tennerpool is saying here it's Luton, so 5-0 Tottenham easily. Do you know what? It's one of them.
People are getting hard on this, man.
Yeah,
you know what happens? In the past, I would have said all the same. We've done all 3 of us have been on preview shows where we've said, "Oh, we're gonna watch this team." This obviously last season.
I'm trying to think
we're
of
gonna
the
watch
worst time
this
that
team.
was.
We're gonna smash this team.
Yeah.
You know what the worst one was?
Bournemouth was a bad one.
Wolves was a bad one as well.
Southampton
was a bad one.
Southampton was awful. Oh God,
Southampton was a bad
terrible.
one. Bournemouth was a bad one as well.
Yeah.
We won a couple of times.
We was like, we're chest out. We was like, 4-0, 5-0. And then in the reaction show, we was all like that.
Yeah, but now I don't have that same feeling. And when you just said that about the goals scored in 7 consecutive games from the start of the season, man, that's no easy.
That's impressive.
So
that's very impressive. Home and away, Man U, Liverpool, Arsenal, we've played.
100%. I don't care if it went to 10 men or 9. I don't give a toss. But what I will say is Luton, on paper, are the weakest opposition, unless you consider Sheffield United in there. But again, I would expect Luton to have some sort of wanting to give something to their fans. But is that going to be a little bit too much ego for the manager? Or is he just going to say, you know what, I can't beat this?
We are 12:30 though, aren't we?
We're 12:30. But you know what? Under Postecoglou, I'm not really bothered about these 12:30s and 5:30s. I'm not bothered. Honestly, I am not bothered now. You can play them midnight. I'm not bothered under Postecoglou. You know what I mean? I think we're all right. One game a week, it don't make a difference. 12:30, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I don't care. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, anyway, makes no difference. But for me, I think it's going to be, that ground is very compact. I mean,
it is compact. I've not been there, but I know it's compact.
Yeah, the away fans are going to be going through people's houses to get to the away end, right? So I think it's going to be quite hard. But I am going with a comfortable win, and I think it'll be 3-0. It'll be 3-0 to Spurs.
Yeah.
In fact, do you know what? In fact, I'm that confident I'm going to blow the whole lot of you, yeah? And I'm going to go exactly what Tennerpool is saying. 5-0 Spurs.
Wow.
I'm going 5-0. The reason I'm going 5-0 is because it's an international break coming up. Yes, we're playing Luton at their ground, but I think we've now learned from our lessons. And after last week and the week before and everything, I think somebody's due a drubbing. And I think tomorrow, Luton. We said that all last season, someone was going to get a drubbing. Never happened. But I think it is going to be 5-0 to Spurs. And I think Son will get a hat-trick. Madders will get 1. And I am going to go with the best fucking left back in the world to score tomorrow as well. Mr. Destiny Udogie. 5-0 to Spurs, guys. Write it down now. Go and put your bet on. I'm telling you, Son is going to score a hat-trick.
Nobody's expecting Luton to win tomorrow.
No.
And Luton are not going to think this game is going to keep them in the Premier League. This games that they've played against like the likes of Everton, the likes of Burnley, the likes of Sheffield United, all those teams in and around them, those are the games they got to win, particularly at home. This is a free hit for them. So it can go either way with free hits. In theory, they could say, you know what, we can try and keep it tight and we might play on the counter, or we want to try and entertain our fans. It's very difficult for players who've been used to playing a certain way to then go and play a defensive way. You've seen it for ourselves in our own club, how it doesn't fit right, it doesn't sit right. Now, Conte drilled all our players through that for a whole pre-season and a season and a half. This guy's probably only had a few games to do that, or at least since he's been in the Premier League. So, yeah, as I said, they ain't got the quality. You just got to remember, they haven't got the quality.
And this is it. And exactly what you said, Sam, at the beginning. We need to get at them. First 25 minutes, we need to get at them, right, and put the game to bed, and then not do what we used to do under Conte and Mourinho and just sit back. No, this team now will, I think, continue going forward. And that's why I think a drubbing's on the cards. And I think we can tomorrow comfortably win 5-0. So there we go. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, everyone in the comment section. Please make sure you subscribe to PRTvSpurs and Paxton Road TV. Make sure you smash that like button. And also, please, if you're Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, don't cry for me, Jurgen Klopp. The truth is, VAR fucked you over. So get over it. Everyone is saying it now. Get over it. Guys, enjoy the game tomorrow. 12:30 kickoff. Come back for a reaction show slightly later tomorrow, right, Sam?
Yeah, when you get back, 4 o'clock-ish or something like that.
Yeah, so it'll be slightly later. And hopefully I'll be saying again 5-0 with the team that I've predicted. We'll all be happy and joyous again. We should be top. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Convincing result tomorrow. We give them a drubbing. Potentially we could go top of the league. International break, 2 weeks. You know what I mean? What more do you want?
Listen,
more would you want?
As I said at the top of the show, when other teams in and around us are playing each other, you have to, particularly we're playing one of the teams who are favourites for relegation, you have to take advantage of it, regardless. Man City, Arsenal game, I don't know who's going to win that one tomorrow, on Sunday. I really don't. And I don't know who I want to win it, to be honest, because if Arsenal win it, it means that City are going to drop points and everybody's in, you know what I mean, excited because, City are dropping points. But if City go and win it, Arsenal drop points. So it's a win-win if we win. Come on, lads. If we win, it's a win-win situation all weekend.
True.
And I think what David's saying here as well, our players just need to make the correct decisions when in the Luton box. That's what we've got to do. Guys, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Thank you to everyone in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed the show. All I'm going to say, enjoy the drubbing tomorrow. Be happy, be merry, because tomorrow evening we're going to be sitting at the top of the table and we're going to be knocking on heaven's door. Guys,
This is Sid speaking, by the way, guys.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you now, we're going to be top of that list. Tottenham Hotspur, number 1 in the hot spot. Let's go. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the game tomorrow. We'll be back for the reaction show.
Develop,